To recap, P-chart is an attribute SPC chart used to monitor defective items. And the special thing about P-chart is quite unique in the sense of P-chart can be used for both scenario when the sample of the inspection is consistent or inconsistent. We can use P-chart in both scenario. So let's look into the slides for more details. Okay, P-charts. I'm not going to explain this. A quick one will be we are still in the process of discussing process control, and we are focusing on attribute process control charts. We've done the rest of the statistical process control tool and techniques. So the only topic left is process control or statistical process control charts for attributes. Okay, and in today's video, we're going to discuss attribute control chart with the names of P-charts. Okay, P-charts. P-charts can be used for both constant sample or inconsistent samples inspection plan for defective items. Okay. All right. So P-chart is quite similar to MP-chart from the perspective of the inspection results of defective item is either pass or fail. So the result inspection can be classified into two. One of two category, which is pass or fail. So there's now other result that besides pass or fail. Then the main difference between MP-chart and P-chart is MP-chart we are counting the number of defective items. As for P-charts, instead of counting the defective items, we are assessing the proportions or the percentage of the defective item. So it's no more counting. It's no more counting. All right. Why we are sort of like assessing the defective item in terms of percentage or proportion rather than counting? The reason is because P-charts is going to apply when the sampling size is inconsistent. So when n is inconsistent, you cannot count, you see. Counting a rejected, counting a defective items will be misleading. Why? It's because you see, example, if the first round of inspections, if I'm collecting 50 samples, and the second round I'm collecting 10 samples. If out of these 50 samples that I collected, example, 4 defective items, but out of the 10 I collected at the second round inspections, I found 1 defective items. If I purely counting the defective item, or I purely comparing the counted defective items, 4 and 1, can I draw a conclusion say that the second batch of inspection is better than the first batch? No. Why? It's because the number of sample size is different. Therefore, if purely refer to counting, you might draw a conclusion say that the second batch, the quality of the second batch is better because you only managed to find 1 defective item compared to the first batch. But if we convert this into ratio or proportions, example, convert into ratio, this is 0.1. This is less than 0.1. You see, 10% of 50 is 5. This is 4, less than 0.5, 0.1. So when you assessing the defective item in terms of counting the number of defective items, the result might misleading. So if the sample inspection is consistent, which is in this example, the first round I collected 50, the second round I collect 10. We need to convert, or we need to present the defective item in terms of proportion or percentage rather than counting. So this is a fundamental concept of P-chart. Okay, let's continue. So because the concept of P-chart, as I explained earlier in the previous slides, the concept of P-chart is based on proportions. Therefore, P-chart could be used in both scenarios when the sample of inspection is consistent or when the sample is not consistent. Both cases, both inspection plan, you can use P-chart because you are presenting the inspection result in terms of percentile proportions. So regardless whether the sample is consistent or inconsistent, you can use P-chart. So the name of the P-chart, the common name of P-chart is friction non-conforming. So the name of friction reflecting that we are not counting, we are presenting, or we are presenting the defective item in terms of percentage of proportions. Unlike NP-chart that we learned last week, NP-chart you are counting the defect. Therefore, the name of NP-chart is number conforming chart. And the name of P-chart is friction non-conforming chart. All right. So whatever that's highlighted in this slide I explained earlier, I explained in the previous two slides. We are saying P-chart shows the ratio. Ratios also another terms of proportions or percentage or proportions. But in this module, we are not going to use percentage. We're going to use proportion or ratio. And you can inspect more than one quality characteristic when you do the inspections. Example, the mineral water, you can inspect does the bottle or does a mineral water empty or on top empty. You also can inspect example, the label positions. Okay, you can inspect two quality characteristics at the same time. Either one of them doesn't comply to the specification, then you reject the items. This is what the second sentence means. Varying size, okay, inconsistent sample size we discussed. And as I mentioned earlier, the name of P-charts is fractions non-conforming. Okay, that is, let's move to next slide. Okay, objective of P-charts. This is not only purely objective of P-chart, it could be objective of P-chart and NP-chart as well. Both the P-charts and NP-chart sharing the same objective. So in last week, the video about NP-chart, I simplified it because last week I took you through the concept of attribute chart. So I don't want you to have a very heavy content on the NP-chart. So objective of P-chart also applicable for NP-chart. Number one, is similar to the variable control chart. SPC chart, at the end of the day, you can make your SPC chart to derive the process capability. But the good thing, or something that, the good thing about attribute chart is the process of calculating process capability based on variable chart is a bit lengthy. Like we go to a few steps before you can calculate the process capability of X by R chart or based on X by R chart. In inspections of quality characteristic in terms of attribute, the way of deriving process capability is very, very simple. You can get it done in 1 second, which is I'm going to share with you today also, but not in this slide. So one of the objective why you want to use P-chart and P-chart is to find out the process capability of the process that you're monitoring. Okay. So yeah, and then bring the attention to management any change the average quite similar to X-bar chart, monitoring the chart. Okay, if there's abnormal trend, then action is required. And if the process is continue, monitoring, improving, then in long run, you should be able to improve the quality of the product. So that is the objective of P-chart. Okay, so in your statistics, in your business statistic or statistic 2, chapter 2, you learn the topics called binomial distributions. Binomial distributions. So P-charts, the concept of P-charts is based on binomial distributions. You might, I think you can't remember what binomial distribution is. You try to find the notes if still there. You try to read what is binomial distributions. Okay, so P-chart usually explains the fractions of MC. We discussed already. Okay, either ratio, percent, or proportion, but we use what I said, we use ratio in this chapter. So to recap, what is binomial theory? Binomial theory basically, binomial is the theory of probability for attribute. So P equal to NP divided by N. You should know what is NP. NP is the number of defective items, correct? We discussed this in last week in the topic of NP charts. NP is the sampling size. Sampling size. So when NP divided by N, then you will get P. So as P is the ratios of the defective items. So this is the ratio of defective item. That's the reason we are saying that P-chart is measuring or presenting or reflecting the defective items in terms of ratio or proportions. Okay. This is example. During the first shift, 450 inspection make of book of the month shipments and 5 NC unit. What is NC? NC here referring to non-conforming unit. Non-conforming unit means rejected units. So production during the shift was 15,000. What is the fraction NC? Fraction NC means what is the P? So we say that P is equal to NP divided by N. So the NP here is referred to 5. N, where's the N? It's 450 or what, 15,000. If you start answering 15,000, then you are wrong. 15,000 is the production's unit. The N is number of sample that is expected. So therefore, in this example, P is equal to 5 divided by 450. And the P, or the fractions non-conforming for this process, is equal to 0.011. Okay, so this is a fundamental concept of binomial. Normally, we are saying that the industry best practices, we are saying that if a company having fractions non-conformings of more than 0.1, then indicated that the company is in serious difficulties, as in trouble, or in short. Means if P is less than 0.1, means out of the 10 products that produce, 1 will be rejected. If that is the case, it's very serious. Do you think it's serious? If I'm saying that out of the 10 students, one of you will fail my SPC, oh, that is very, very serious. Okay, all right, so that's a fundamental of P, which we yet to talk about P-chart. I just want to sort of like refresh you on binomial and P. Okay, if you never heard about P, then you're dangerous because you learned P before in business statistics. All right, or statistic 2 lah for you. Okay, now only we start look into what P chart is. So as indicated here, P charts can be used regardless either the sample size is consistent or not. So let's look into the simple one, easier one, which is we look into when sample size is consistent. How we're going to apply P chart. Okay, so this is the same example that we discussed in last week on the NP charts. We have a inspection plan with consistent number of sample. You pick the same number of sample throughout these 3 inspections plan or 3 inspection steps. So you're picking 4 sample consistently every time. But the number of defective items is different. The first batch of sample that you pick, none of the sample defective. There's none of the sample that rejected. And the second batch there are 2, and the last batch there's 1. All right. So the process of developing a P chart as well as NP chart is quite similar. We go through the same steps that you follow when developing S by R charts. You have to select the quality characteristic, determine the subgroup size, collect the sample. This is sound very familiar. I'm not going to take you through because we have gone through this when we're discussing S bar R charts. There's only one thing that I want to focus here, not this. Select quality characteristic. You can select whatever attribute. Attribute means something that counting without measurement, right? Okay. Then, okay, the one that I want to highlight here is the selection of subgroup size and also the sample size, you see, especially the sample size. How are you going to decide the sample size? It very much depend on the history quality performance of the process. You see, if you're monitoring a process with fractions of non-conforming of P of 0.001, and you decided to pick 1,000 sample for inspection, do you think this is a good sampling size? Okay, what 0.001 means? 0.001 means carry a meaning of 1 out of 1,000 sample will be rejected. Okay, so if you are knowing the history data, this is history data of the performance of the process. If this is the case, even though if P is 0.001 and you are suggesting to have a sampling size of 1,000, even though that the number 1,000 look like it's a very big sampling size, however, this is not a good sampling plan because P is 0.001. If you pick 1,000, the chances for you to find a reject or defective item is very, very small. You get me? So it's not a good sampling plan. How about the second example? Based on history record, we know that the second process is the second process. We know that the fractions non-conforming or the P for the process 0.15, and you are suggesting that to pick 50 sample compared to the first process, compared to process A. In terms of number, it looks like the number of sample is small. However, by comparing the P and NP, we know that 50 sample is enough because by picking 50 sample, the possibility of finding a reject is you might going to find 7.5 defective item. So in summary, what I try to tell you is the step in when you're going to pick when you're going to decide the sampling size, the first piece of information you must have is the history, the quality performance history of the process. Okay, how the process performed previously. And from that performance of P, you decide on the sampling size that which is you have good chance to detect any defective items. Huh? All right. All right. So the process is not a very easy process. The process of defining the sampling size not very straightforward and easy process. It needs some preliminary observation, and then you have to improve from time to time. Huh? Okay. So this is the only step that makes it quite different. This is the only step that makes P chart quite different from X bar R chart and NP chart. You see? So this is the one. Okay. Now, you start collecting data and calculate the tri-center line and control limit. Okay. Before that, I noticed something. Okay. You might notice that you might notice or you might not, but one day when you work in the industry, you might notice that some of the company is also collecting the similar data. They pick certain number of samples, they try to find the defective item, and they start plotting the result of the inspections, example, on a daily basis. On daily basis, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. How many defective items they start plotting. Okay. This type of chart is quite commonly used in industry, but this type of chart is not SPC chart, it's not P chart or NP chart. The reason because this type of chart is without the upper control limit and lower control limit. It's purely for monitoring the performance without referring to any limit. And this type of chart, we call it as a run chart. Run chart. We didn't cover run chart in our module. Why? It's because run chart doesn't apply any statistical technique without calculating the control limit and center line. Therefore, a better way of monitoring attribute quality characteristic is by using P chart and P chart. Okay, so now step number 4, calculating the tri-center line and control limit. This is very straightforward. What's NP? By now you should know NP is the defective item. So the sum of NP means depends how many lots that you inspected or how many sample, how many subgroups are inspected. You total up the number of defective items divided by total number of sample that inspected. Okay, so then you will get the center line of P bar. P bar is sometimes in certain book they call it PO lah. Okay, so P bar is the total number of defective items divided by the total numbers of the total number of sampling that you inspected, sample that you inspected. Then how about upper control limit? Upper control limit, once you have P bar, then the calculations of this upper control limit and lower control limit is very straightforward. So if upper control limit is equal to P bar plus 3 multiplied by square root of P bar minus 1 plus, where's my pen, of P bar, okay, 1 minus P bar. So what you need to know is only the P bar. So once with the P bar, you are able to calculate the upper control limit and lower control limit. So N is equal to the number inspected in the subgroup. Bear in mind, now we are discussing that we are discussing a P chart that used in a sampling inspection with consistent sampling size. Okay, consistent sampling size means N will be the same across all the subgroups. Okay, so divided by n. So let's look into the example. So this is an example. You see, as I mentioned in the previous slide, now at this moment we are discussing how to apply P-chart for the scenario of consistent sampling size. So in this case, the sample size is consistent. The number of samples that inspected per subgroup is 300. In total, you have 25 subgroups. And NP is the number of defective items that you detected or you filtered out or you found at each subgroup. Example, subgroup number 1, you collect 300 samples. Out of the 300, 12 out of the 300 rejected because doesn't comply to the quality characteristic that you have been specified. Okay. All right. So center line is equal to total number of defective items. The total number of defective items. Okay. Bear in mind the actual data is from 1 to 25 lah, but I doesn't show every single number here because this is example lah. Okay, so NP is the total number of defective item. In this case, is 138. N is total number of sample that inspected. Is 25 times 300, which is 7,500. So by dividing 138 with 7,500, you will get P bar. P bar representing the center line of the control chart. And this is 0.018. 0.018. By knowing the P bar, you just replace P bar into the formula upper control limit and lower control limit. Okay, we have the P bar here. P bar. Mean time n is equal to 300, consistent. Okay. Therefore, the upper control limit is 0.041. And how about lower control limits? Instead of plus, we change to minus and you will get negative. However, again, in attribute control chart, there will be no negative. We can't say that I have -1 reject, no. So you have to round out to 0. And with that, you already have the upper control limit and lower control limit as well as the center lines for these P charts. Okay, so you can start plotting develop the chart where you have the center line, you have the lower control limit, and you have the upper control limit. The question now is, the next step you should start, it's okay, yeah? Let it be there. The next thing will be you need to start plotting the point on the SPC chart. You start plotting the point. But which point are you going to put on this? Which point are you going to plot on the control chart? Are you going to put this point, 12? Bear in mind, no. You're not going to put 12, 3, 9, 4 here because we are not talking about NP charts. We're talking about P chart. Therefore, the next step is you have to calculate the P for every single subgroup. Okay. How to calculate the P for every single subgroup is you have to divide 12 by 300, then you get 0.0403 divided by 300, 0.010. So what I try to tell you is this is a step that you need to carry out in P chart. In NP chart, in X bar, R chart, this step is not required. The point is there, the data is there, you just plot the data into the control chart. But for P chart, this is the additional step. You have to calculate the P for every single subgroup and then plot the P into the P chart. Okay, and by doing that, you can start putting this point or plotting this point onto the P control chart. Okay, Again means, so this is the additional steps. Okay. So you see, by plotting that, you notice that there's one point that upper control limits, okay, which is required, action is required. Okay. What you're going to do, you have to study, investigate the root cause of this point, why the frictions non-conforming, the P is beyond upper control limit. Investigate, and you must able to manage. You must able to find the root cause and resolve it. Then this point need to be removed in order for you to recalculate the revised upper control limit and lower control limit. Again, you might notice that there are 3 points that exactly on the lower control limit. This is also something that different from variable control chart, which is similar to NP chart. No action are required for this 3 points because 0% or 0 ratio of rejection is a good indication. So you're not required to remove this 3 points. But this 3 points is a very good reference point for you to find something, something that we call a best practice. Okay, so these are the points that the process performed very well. Therefore, you might want to use these 3 points as a reference to develop a best practice of running the process. So in short, point that on the lower control limits, you're not required to take actions in terms of investigating why it's on the 0 and remove it. No, but you might use it as a best practices reference. But point beyond upper control limit, you need to remove. So to remove, quite standards. This point is point number, okay. So the control limit, so this 1 point is from subgroup number 19. Okay. So what I need to do is have to investigate, see whether assignable cause. You must able to find the assignable cause before you remove the point. Okay, so example, example saying that, oh, someone investigate the process setting or the process performance as subgroup 90 indicated that relatively inexperienced operator. Oh, the fractional non-conforming, the P is so high is because on that particular day, an inexperienced operator was running the machine. Okay, so that is a assignable cause, inexperienced operator. Therefore, we can remove this point now. To remove this point is very straightforward. You need to find a new center line for the P charts. And the new center line is calculated by removing the point that up control limit. Okay, in this case, you're going to remove point number 19. Okay, you're going to remove point number 19. Okay, so point number 19 means is the MP is 16. Okay, so you're going to minus up 16 from the total. Okay, the total is 138. So you minus up 16 from the total, and then at the same time, the numbers of the sample is also going to reduce by 300. Okay, then you will get 0.017. And upper control limit, make use of the new P bar and still remain the same. Then you are able to calculate the upper and lower control limits. And as what we discussed in X bar R chart, this will be the continuous process. This is our idea, like we want to solve like continually improve, and then if possible, we want to reduce the sample size until the process is stable. Okay, so once the process is stable, then you can look into the process capability. I told you earlier in the first few slides, I said that process capability for attribute chart is very straightforward. 1 second you can get it done. once the process is stable, the center line is the number of the center line representing the process capability. Example, in this case, if asking what is the process capability for this process, the process capability is 0.01. The center line, there's no further calculation. So it's the center line of the control chart. Okay, so therefore I said process capability for P chart, and P chart is quite straightforward. No need to calculate. No need to do the same thing that you were doing in S bar R chart. Need to find the standard deviation, then upper spec limit, no spec limit. No. We are calculating. We are referring process capability to the center line of the control chart when the process is stable. Okay. All right. So in this case, example, this is the center line. Okay. And okay, this is a tutorial for P chart when sample size is consistent. Okay, so I will just stop the video here now, but if you are still feeling you want to continue, then you watch a subsequent video. It's also on the P chart, but P chart for inconsistent sampling size. Okay, all right.